had people email me over the years saying they don't want to sign up for my color analysis service because in looking at the reference options on my website, say in the products area, they feel that the references don't account for all color analysis result possibilities. In this video, I'm going to respond to that line of thinking, and then I'm also just going to add an additional thought right now to my last video where I shared an in-person color analysis with my friend Gayla. An interesting fact that I forgot to say in that video was after I finished the in-person analysis part, I loaded a picture of Gayla into my virtual color analysis tool to make sure that what I saw virtually was the same thing as her in-person color analysis result, because I feel I have developed more confidence, frankly, personally, doing virtual color analysis because that's what I've done more frequently of late. And the true spring was so obvious to me virtually. And so, yeah, so I thought that would be fun to share. You know, while I did see it in the in-person fabrics, I actually saw it more virtually and really enhanced my confidence in the in-person result, because I like to sit back and think about things, and virtual provides for that. Whereas sometimes when you're waving around fabric so fast in person, I may have missed some things, and that's the joy I find in virtual. On to this next part of the discussion. So if you go to the products area on my website, to the color analysis kits page, it says on that page to scroll to the bottom of the page to see each result mapping and my recommended products for each mapping. To knock off the easy part of this discussion, most people fall within 4 palettes of the 22 result possibilities listed on the page. Those 4 palettes are true winter, true autumn, true summer, or true spring. And so if I was to use true winter as an example, from this page, it says, for a true winter, I recommend the winter fabric swatch wallet. And I get that people want to make sure they're buying the right thing, but the winter fabric swatch wallet, the fact that it doesn't have the label on it saying it's true winter does not mean it's not true winter colors. And so the same deal. So true summer, I recommend the summer fabric swatch wallet. True spring, the spring swatch wallet. True autumn, the autumn fabric swatch wallet. Because all those are the correct mappings. The product provider, for some reason, and I don't know why, decided not to label those palettes true. But they are. And so the whole goal of color analysis is to have a set of references to shop with, so you can use it to identify your color ranges. I'm just grabbing. And so that's the goal. And so the fact that the true autumn colors on this reference aren't labeled true autumn does not mean they aren't true autumn colors. And so I wouldn't get so hung up in labeling. I find some people are getting so hung up in labeling, and I get that you want to make sure you're buying the right thing, but don't worry about what a reference is called. Just make sure the reference you're using visually contains the right colors. And so that covers the 4 categories that are most often given out. And so that leaves us with 18 categories on the page. There's one more category that I don't have on the page, and that is the universal color palette. And that is because the universal color palette is mostly for dressing groups of people, like in uniforms, wedding parties, etc. And so I've only in my whole color analysis career given out the universal palette reference as a result, maybe 2 or 3 times ever, and I've color analyzed thousands and thousands of people around the globe. So I don't put that one out there, other than you can buy it on my page if you're dressing groups of people. It's a very useful tool. Then there's 18 color analysis result possibilities that are left that are rarer to be sent out, and those 18 possibilities remaining are situations where somebody is a mixture of color seasons. As an example, here is the deep palette. This is a mixture of winter and autumn coloring. This palette is recommended for both deep winters and deep autumns. In my opinion, if I was to break down this deep palette reference to be an exact match to deep winter and deep autumn colors, they would look extremely similar. You take that one step further on the ground shopping, you got to use these references. And so this is a reference that is usable and for you to know your color ranges, if you're a deep winter or deep autumn or even true deep. If I was to be holding up a deep autumn reference right now, the colors would look so similar, and then in the stores you have to take this shopping. And so I like using things and just matching to ranges and making sure it's in the range and not being so technical to matchy. Color analysis is visual, and so being in the ranges is sort of where I would go. I wouldn't be matching to colors exactly, because that, you know, good luck finding stuff in stores if you are trying to match to colors exactly too. Color analysis to me is to make your shopping more easy, efficient, and finding colors that exact match works against that, in my opinion. Let's take Elise as an example. Elise runs the Toronto, Canada in-person color analysis service. Elise is a deep autumn. So what does that mean? In step 1 of color analysis, cool versus warm, warm was slightly better than cool. And in step 2, when the home season was looked at, autumn was slightly better than winter, but it was a close call. And then in step 3 of color analysis, the deep palette was the winner. Here's a look at that. Here is an autumn color on Elise, and this color over here is a deep color. The deep color is the winner. If I was running a color analysis process and somebody was a deep winter, let's say, the same deep color would be compared, but over here would be a winter color, and this color would still win. So this works for both deep winter and deep autumn. Let's go over here. Here's autumn, and this is a deep color. The winner is this color. She needs the stronger coloring. Let's say she was a deep winter. Over here would be a winter black, and over here would be the exact same deep color, and this color would win. This color works for both deep winter and deep autumn. If you really wanted to, I guess you could go on and buy the deep winter and deep autumn references if you received a color analysis result with the word deep in it, but I would just stick to this reference. You're gonna find the deep winter and deep autumn references look very similar, and so using this reference to match to ranges works. Somebody who is a deep winter and somebody who's a deep autumn has a neutral undertone range, so neutral undertone hair colors work, and neutral undertone foundations, for example, work. There's very many similarities between the palettes. So I'm not such a fan of being so technical with labels, and I totally get that you as a consumer might not know these details, but I just look at the end references and think through the shopping experience and what have you. I wouldn't worry about what a reference is called. I would worry about the colors in the reference and matching to the ranges of colors in the reference. I've even been playing around with the idea of going back to only giving 10 result possibilities, because once we get to, I'm finding, this level of detail of result possibilities, does it really matter when you're shopping on the ground? I just don't like to be so technical. I like to show some personality. Here is like a hat, and individually these colors are true summer, but the color blocking look here very much is not true summer, but I love it. It's got so much fun and pizzazz. Sometimes you have to incorporate your personality too and not be so technical. So if you're looking for an extremely technical color analysis service, I use technical aspects to get at your result, but in terms of implementing your result, I say stick to color ranges, stick to you, do what's right for you, and don't worry about labels.